last 5-6 months, our entire world has been so significantly impacted by COVID-19 and the pandemic. The impact has been really seen to hit hard in our Black and Brown communities. And so as folks try to understand the why is this pandemic, this disease that seemingly equally affects everybody and is spread so rapidly, why are those in Black and Brown communities and low-income communities suffering at such a disproportionate rate?
The systems that we work within in Children's Home and Aid were built to work for some people more than they do for others, or were built to not work specifically for those populations. So we have to change the way that they're built, because if we don't have real meaningful change for those systems, how are we going to get rid of, that foundation of inequity? We can't unless we really change what that foundation is.
The act of being in foster care is a trauma experience every day. It lives in our bodies as former youth in care, and that ambiguous loss is experienced every day by you. It is a concrete, monumental trauma that occurs over and over again until a child is either returned or achieves permanency and is able to settle.
So many of our birth parents really just need someone in their life that believes in them, someone in their life that they can go to when they've got questions about, all right, I got a notice on this bill. What can I do? I think I just want to throw it away. No, don't throw it away. No, let's talk. Let's call them and see if you can make a payment plan. Kids who end up in foster care often come from families who don't have support systems, right? And so when things go wrong, they don't have someone to catch them, and it goes wrong big, and the kids end up in foster care.
For me, I think it's just being more sensitive to that, being more aware, and making sure that their cups are full first, that they're feeling like, hey, you need to be included, you need to be equal, you need to be valued and loved, and you need to feel that from a personal place, and you need to feel that from the courts, you need to feel that from the officer that pulled you over, you need to feel that from, your teachers on your Zoom meetings that don't understand why you don't have Wi-Fi.
Being a single mother of 4 now, and I've been dealing with mental illness for quite a while. I was diagnosed a couple of years ago, and finally knowing what it is that's wrong and what's going on, that I deal with depression and anxiety. And now that I know what it is, and I'm able to, seek out help, getting the help from Miss Deb has been a blessing to me, because a lot of people see me as this Black lady that just had all of these kids, like a stereotypical Black woman, like somebody that's just lazy, that doesn't want to do anything, that just popped all of these kids out just because she don't see me like that. She sees me for me, like a mother that just so happened to have 4 kids, that just so happened to be going through what I'm going through, and that lived a life that I'm proud that I got through. I've been through a lot, and I want the things that I've been through to help somebody else like me.
So we went and visited, and then a few months later, I started using the nursery when I realized that I was not stable enough to have somebody there for my child to make sure that I was continually getting my treatments like I was supposed to. Sometimes without crisis nursery, I think I would be lost.
I am a beneficiary of Children's Home and Aid, right? I am legacy investment, right? I am the investment that happened a very long time ago that has now come back in order to give what I have and offer value back to the organization, because it helped build who I am.
When an individual client is able to see themselves reflected in the agency, the school, or the community that is helping to lift them up, they're able to, sort of embody that and bring it back to their own families and to their own neighborhood, and start to be the change they want to see in the world.
You know, at Children's Home and Aid, in this time where there's so many things going on in our communities around us, with the COVID, with the pandemic, with the all the movements that we've got going on, it really has been an opportunity for us to look at our programs and say, how are we providing services to all of the unique families and all the unique populations that we get to work with? Are we making sure that we're meeting the needs in the most sensitive way? Are we making sure that we're being respectful? It really is a time for us to reflect on ourselves and say, where do we need to make those changes, and where do we get to make those changes to make sure that we are reaching the most that we can reach in the way that's best for everybody?
A term we're hearing a lot now is reimagining. And I think it's an aspirational term to use, but it is really kind of at the center of what we're talking about. It's about being able to conceptualize and then operationalize change.
I would love for them to be like, oh, you're the organization that truly rethought how this policy should work. And you were the agency that made sure that it had really true, meaningful, beneficial impacts for the children and families that you serve.
My personal wish list, if I had any ask in the world that could be fulfilled, is that we have representation of everyone that we serve on the board, at the agency, in leadership, in all of our programs, in all of our caseworkers, in every decision that we make as an agency. I want to see bio parents who have successfully or unsuccessfully, they exist. And I want to see them be part of the conversation. I want youth who maybe are still experiencing the system to be part of the conversation.
I think any institution that serves the public must reflect at all levels that public, and specifically the communities it serves, be able to hear the voices and respond to the voices of the community as it goes about its work. At Children's Home and Aid, I think this is the journey that Children's Home and Aid is on, and reflection, and it will take self-reflection and intentional action. And I hope we're on that path.